Good afternoon. My name is Stanley Arumugam. I'm the board chair for MAF South Africa. It's my pleasure to share the devotional with you this afternoon, and thank you for joining us. We really appreciate the support of our partners, and I hope in today's devotional that you will also be encouraged and drawn closer to Christ. My reading for the devotional comes from Mark, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 46 to 52. And this is the story of blind Bartimaeus, as we commonly know. Verse 46, they came to Jericho. As he and his disciples and a large crowd were leaving Jericho, Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, a blind beggar, was sitting by the roadside. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout out and say, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Many sternly ordered him to be quiet, but he cried out even more loudly, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Jesus stood still and said, "Call him here." And they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take heart, get up, he is calling you." So throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and came to Jesus. And then Jesus said to him, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man said to him, "My teacher, let me see again." Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately he regained his sight and followed him all the way. This story of Bartimaeus we've often heard from Sunday school. In the story, there is important people and places, and that is the first place where we start to recognize the people and places. This story is taking place in the context of Jericho, the city of Jericho, where Jesus is passing through. In Hebrew, Jericho means a place of fragrance. Wherever Jesus went, he brought fragrance to people, to places of pain, poverty, injustice, and just by his presence. And MAF South Africa, as an organization that is rooted in biblical justice, is also an opportunity to bring fragrance into the lives of the many people that we reach. But we also take note of the main character in this story, whose name is Bartimaeus. And in Hebrew, Bar, meaning son of, is the son of Timaeus. And Timaeus, interestingly, has two root meanings. The first is unclean. So, Bar, the son of and unclean. And the second meaning, interestingly, is honor. So in this name, there is intersection of two identities. One that is obvious at face value. This person that is blind from birth would have been considered unclean in that culture, an outcast, defiled, someone that is not worthy of respect. Yet in that same root name is the meaning of a true son, a son of honor, respect, and dignity. And many social justice organizations and faith-based organizations, and MAF, by the nature of its work, seeks to discover more than what is obvious, more than the son of dishonor, and to bring dignity and honor back to the people that we work with. So that's the first lesson that I get out of this story. The second is that related to listening to the cries for help. As a society, we are called to respond to many needs, from the poor, the marginalised, victims of abuse, people all crying out for a better life. But like the people in the city of Jericho, many people are also trying to still and silence these voices. Keep quiet, they say. Some are based on making judgments of sin and say it's your fault that you are where you are. It's your responsibility. You are irresponsible. That is why you're in the situation you are in. So why make your problem ours? But the more we try to shut off the people that desperately need the help of our Lord, the more they will shout out. And we hear in this Jesus actually saying, I can hear someone that is shouting out for me. Let him come to me. And so the work of MAF is to amplify the voices of those that are needing assistance, that are needing support, that are needing dignity, that are needing a better life, that are needing a life of flourishing. And your work as a partner assists us in bringing that voice out and in hearing that voice and in responding to that voice, much like Jesus did on that day that he passed through Jericho. So when Timaeus then comes into Jesus' presence, Jesus sees him for really who he was. Although the party is just traveling through, Jesus stops, he makes time and brings Timaeus into his compassionate gaze. He's not just a number, he's not just a social action project, a deliverable or a picture on an annual report. For Jesus, he sees Timaeus in the fullness of being a human being. And this is the privilege that we have as we partner in the work of compassion, compassionate ministry and justice. That we are able to see people for who they really are, not just a number that we are trying to raise funds for or trying to rescue. We are looking at the human being behind the story. And so this brings me to my next point. Whenever Jesus heals someone, he kind of asked a very obvious question: what do you want? And it might seem blunt and even callous, seeing a lame person and asking, what do you want? Or seeing a blind person asking, what do you want? Isn't it rather obvious what they want? But in asking, Jesus, from deep compassion and a sense of co-responsibility, allows those that are most marginalized, poor, victims of abuse, to actually speak out what it is they want. And so in that act of speaking out, they participate in their healing, their wellness, and in their development. And so too, you as a partner with us in MAF, our work is based on agency. We want to come alongside people, not rescue them, but encourage them to join the journey, to speak up, to speak out, to say what it is they need, and also to share with us ideas of how they can participate in their healing, their development, and social upliftment. So there's always a partnership in the model that Jesus applies. And then finally, it's encouraging to see that in this act of compassion, Bartimaeus, or the son of Timaeus, his response is not to go back to his original condition, is not to go back to what he was used to since birth, just begging. He's now empowered to take up a new life, and in his new life he chooses to follow Jesus. And this is ultimately what we want. We want to be able to reach people in their situation, recognize where they are, in their poverty, in their social difficulty, in their illness, ill health, but in bringing some relief and support. It's not just a short-term action. We want to be with those people, to encourage them to an extent where they recognize that the source of healing, encouragement, and redemption, if you like, is Christ. And so that is the ultimate purpose of Christian social action. It's not an end in itself. And we bring all of the resources that we have, our love, devotion, compassion. But through that, we hope that people see Christ in us, Christ through us. And so you as a partner joining us, you may not be on the field with some of our staff or in terms of our international work with our missionaries, but you're an extension of that love and compassion. You become and enable the hands of Christ, the face of Christ, to be seen in the areas of South Africa and around the world that most need the love and compassion of Jesus. So, in conclusion, Bartimaeus is a story for me, not just of a blind man that was miraculously healed, but of a man that Jesus helps us through the story to rediscover that there's more to those that are around us. They are not just victims, they are not just outcasts. There is a dignity inherent in them that needs to be uncovered, that needs to be discovered, both for them but also for us, so that we engage with them in the full dignity and image, and recognizing that they're created in the image of God. So I want to thank you for joining this devotional in this time of COVID-19, when we're all locked down, when we're together with those that we love, if we are privileged to be in that situation. Let us be mindful and continue to be mindful of those that do not have this opportunity and privilege. And thank you. Thank you for your engagement and your participation as a partner of MAF. This makes it possible for us to reach people that are marginalized, isolated for most of their lives, not just during this period of COVID-19. So may the Lord bless you. May His face shine upon you. May you receive the blessing of wellness for yourself and your family. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you for joining us.